Hey, what's up YouTube? Emmanuel from Kuya Adventures. Okay, so I'm walking down my local park today in the reserve. Just thinking about what's going to happen this weekend. I'm going out with Kumagai 1976, Tara and Matthew. We're going to go to the waterfall in the Royal National Park, spend the night there. Should be a whole lot of fun. We're going to go right through the priorities: shelter, fire, water, food, navigation, first aid and signaling. A few skills in each priority and have a whole lot of fun. I've got some special chicken wings to cook for our communal meal. That should be very, very yummy. Okay, so I'm going to show you my stuff again for this weekend. But this time I'm going to do it a little different. I'm going to explain each of the items, what I do with them, what they're for, etc., etc. And hopefully that'll give you a better idea on how my system works for me. And it might even inspire you to improve yours. So let's get back to my house. And I'll show you what I got. On the table is the items that I use to complete the priorities of survival. I follow a 7-priority survival system, which you probably know already if you watch my videos. That's shelter, fire, water, food, navigation, first aid and signaling. Now shelter is the #1 priority, the first priority, simply because of exposure. The elements will kill you, and the elements is the #1 killer for survivors. So shelter is the first priority. And in saying that, your first line of defense for shelter is your clothes. On the line here, I have all my adventure clothes, the clothes that I'll be using this weekend. So I've got thermals and a singlet. I got a 100% wool overcoat. Love that thing. Pants and a vest. Then there's some wool socks over there too. So that's my first line of defense for shelter. Now on a table I have my 1-man freestanding tent. It's a freestanding tent, which means I can pretty much set it up anywhere. Okay, on the rocks by the river, in a cave on the rocks, somewhere where there's no trees, anywhere at all, I can use this tent to complete shelter. Alright, so I also have an Australian Army hoochie, authentic, as an overlay for my tent. I have a scarf which I use as a pillow or something to sit on. And then I have my authentic boonie hat, Australian Army boonie hat. You don't see these days. This is about over 40 years old. Cool, huh? Anyway, I also have a scrimmage net, which I use as a scarf. Or at night with the other scarf as a pillow. Also for shelter, I have my camping chair. Okay, so other items to help me complete the priority of shelter is my bedding and my sleep mat. My sleep mat is a 3/4 hiker mat by Oztrail. Helps me keep insulated off the ground. Then in this 20-litre dry bag, sorry, I think it's a 30-litre dry bag, is my bedding. Okay, so my bedding consists of a 10-degree sleeping bag, queen-size cotton wool blanket, a sheet, and that's it. Now with that sleep system, I can be comfortable down to 0 degrees. I just did it last weekend actually. So another item for shelter, part of my clothes system, is my Desert Scorpion Pentagon boots. Very comfortable. Not too good in the rain, but when it's dry, they are very, very good boots. They weigh 400 grams, I think. That's very, very light in comparison to other boots. Yeah, with my clothes, that's all I need out there. Hiking, camping, adventuring, exploring. So that's shelter. Okay, so the priority of fire is really very important. I mean, with it, half the battle is won. You can cook, have warmth, have light, a way to signal, and purify your water. Introducing my belt carry. Okay, so on my belt carry I have a PSK. That's it there. Okay, in the PSK I have a fire steel and several different types of tinders and a brand new Bic lighter. Now with those items I can easily make fire in any conditions. I also have a Surefire in there as well, which burns for 14 minutes. Okay, so that's how I complete the priority of fire. Fire is very, very important, and it's a feeling, a sense of placement, and a signal to other animals, predators maybe, that you're in the area, which usually works. In other countries like Africa, fire is the first priority. Okay, so another item for the priority of fire for this particular trip is a grill. Now I did mention I'm going to cook some chicken wings that were requested, and I'll need this grill. So I use some rocks to make 2 stable platforms, put the grill on top over a fire, and I'll have some delicious chicken wings. So yeah, okay, so completing the priority of water is really quite simple for me. I take a 1 litre canteen, Nalgene, with a carry bag with the straps inside, a Sawyer Mini to filter my water, and a quart pot to boil it. I have never got sick from the water that I've purified, and that's how I purify my water. So for water storage, I know you're probably thinking, is a 1 litre canteen enough? Well, what I do is I store, when I get to camp and I find the water source, I collect the water and bring it back to camp in these big Ziploc bags. I can probably put about 3 litres in the bag easily, several bags there. I hang them up on a tree and I simply lift one corner to have running water. Okay, so that's it. That's how I complete the priority of water. The priority of food can be really quite extensive. If you think about hunting and gathering, bush cooking, etc., etc., I could go on forever about it. But for this trip, I'm simply bringing a quart pot to cook my food in. If you haven't seen these before, these are great. It's what the old timers used to use, the jackaroos and that. This is the lid, which is also a cup that holds 270 mils, plenty big enough for a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. And that's the quart pot. Great bit of kit. Now I've got some tea and sugar in there as well. Okay, so for food, I've got some noodles. I love my noodles. Very light and easy to prepare, and you're eating in minutes. So I've got some mee goreng noodles, which are Indomie. These are dried noodles. So you boil them and then you pour out the water, then add the seasoning and mix it. Very delicious. Then I got the Tom Yam noodles, which are a soup noodle dish, which I love as well. Got some crackers and some tuna. Okay, some lollies for morale boost. All I ever need is chopsticks and a spoon. Never need a fork, always have a knife. Got my collapsible bowl, which is also a little plate sometimes. And that's it. Now I'm also bringing 2 kilos of chicken wings for the trip. I showed you the grill that I'm going to cook them on. And that's the priority of food. Now with food, you can make smart decisions. So yeah, eat as much as you can when you're out there. Okay, so for the priority of navigation, I use a GPS, which is a Bushnell Backtrack. Okay, so this marks 3 positions, very simple. And when I get to my destination, I mark a position, then I just turn it off. And most of the time I don't need to turn it back on. I also have a monoscope to see ahead. And I understand that the sun rises in the east. And I take note of my bearings when I at significant landmarks. And that's basically how I do my navigation in the bush. So that's navigation. I meet the priority of first aid with my first aid kit. You've probably seen it in my previous video, my recent video. Okay, so I've got everything to prevent infection, treat wounds, medicines for any ailments I might have, like stomach aches, headaches, etc., etc. I have emergency fire, which is a box of matches, 2 large compression bandages for snake bites, sprains, breaks, large wounds, etc., etc. I also have some vitamin C tablets to keep my immune system strong, and some pain relief tablets. Okay, so that's the priority of first. Okay, so my items for signaling is a 500 lumen Olight tactical torch. Whew. Okay, also like a weapon too. Huh? Okay, it has a diffuser on the bottom. You can see it. Okay, and then I also have a USB lamp. Now I can use this with my battery banks, and it also takes batteries. So one set of batteries is usually good for a night. Lithium batteries. Also has a fan too, which is handy in summer. I also have my electronics box, which consists of headphones in a case, 2 battery banks. Now the Plox holds three charges. The Goal Zero holds 2 charges, and then I've got some leads and some spare AAA batteries in there as well. Okay, all in a pellet case. Now with the ability to make ground signals, use a signal mirror and make signal fires. That's how I complete the priority of signaling. Okay, so for my other gear, like you've probably noticed in my other videos, I use a little plastic gearbox, okay, just to hold the small items. But firstly, we'll get into my knife. And this is on my belt carrier, as you can see. It's the only knife I'll be taking with me. This knife is a Joker SWAT. Okay, available at Southern Cross Survival web store. Beautiful, beautiful knife. I mean, it's great for wilderness work and everything actually, really. It's like a utility wilderness knife. Okay, on the bottom it has a fire steel, just in case I need it. So that's 2 fire steels I bring with me. And that's basically an item for shelter, because you need it to make your shelter. Okay, so the gearbox. So you've seen some of the other items. I also carry some cleansing wipes. Now after a hike, and usually there's no water source to have a shower in, so I use cleansing wipes, and I'm in the habit of having dry showers or dry baths. Handkerchief, very handy. Rubbish bag, must have for camps. Always take your rubbish with you. Tissue, toilet paper. Now for shelter, I also have some cordage, which is some jute twine, and some paracord. And then I've also got my stove, which is for the priority of fire, a Hexamite stove, or food. Hexamite stove with tablets. I also have some antiseptic sanitizer. Great. After you go to the toilet, must sanitize. Okay, so I've also got some cotton ball and Vaseline fire starters for Kumagai, and I have a CRKT compass. There's a fire steel there too. Bracelet, old bracelet accessory, paracord bracelet accessory. Anyway, I hope she likes it, huh? Okay, so that's my gearbox. So guys, that's everything. That's everything for this weekend. All the items that I use and need to complete the priorities of survival and to have a great camp. Thanks for watching, guys. Adios.